Okay.
Yeah.
So that one I've understood. Okay. Is there another recap?
Yes. Now, you remember me telling you about when Issa passed on in 2003?
Yeah.
In 2007, I had another scare.
Whoa.
So some Sunday morning, I wake up and I see missed calls on my phone. So I see a missed call from a lady who I used to work with called Doreen. She's now in Australia, I think. Then I see another missed call from Nameless.
Was Doreen Amani's manager?
Yes. Oh, she mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think she's in Canada.
Canada, yes. I think Canada.
I know, she's the one that, yeah.
So I see a missed call from Doreen. Then I see a missed call from Nameless. Then I see a missed call from Pinye.
Whoa.
Now I start calling them back. So I call Doreen. She doesn't pick up. I call Nameless. Nameless told me, he asked me, have you spoken to Pinye? I told him, no, not yet. I'm going to call him next. He told me, I'm far off, but where are you? I told him I'm at home. He told me, please dress up, get into your car and start driving. I asked him, why? He told me Pinye is got an accident.
What?
Yes, 2007. So me, I start preparing as I'm now starting to call Pinye. Because now Nameless was telling me, I think he was somewhere else. He was in a different town. So then by the time I get Pinye on phone, Pinye tells me he's gotten into an accident. So Pinye was coming from a gig in Meru.
Oh.
They were traveling back, they got into a head-on collision on the way back. So Pinye was on the side of the road. He was with DJ Easy B, who was rushed to hospital. But he was like, he wanted to take care of it. Pinye is that guy of taking care of everyone before. So like, yes. I can even, because of the way I know him, I can picture probably medics were going to attend to him, but he was like, attend to those ones first. So he made sure Easy B was taken to Hosi. The other person who was in that accident, Sheila Mwanyiga.
Whoa.
And I'll even...
Dude, don't stop saying it.
I'll even tell you something about Sheila Mwanyiga later that now relates to this accident. Sheila Mwanyiga was taken to Hosi. Now Pinye was left with decks, the DJ decks.
Yeah.
And remember at that time, yani DJ decks were a big thing. I think a brand of the new pioneers had just come in, and he had them, so they were a big deal. And of course, at an accident scene, there's always those people who are trying to steal from you, you know. So he's refusing to be taken to Hosi until he can figure out how to protect these things. Do you know I drove to Thika? When I got to Thika, I found Pinye on the side there. It's only when I took those decks, put them in my car, got Pinye into my car, then we drove to hospital.
What?
Yes. So we drove him to some hospital somewhere on Thika Road. I can't remember the name of the hospital. He was checked out, and then he was given painkillers. Then I drove him to Nairobi Hospital, which he refused to enter. I had to call a pal of his called Thairu.
Yeah, Thairu.
And there's a chick also who I called, I can't remember. And I think I even called Lorna to push him to get into hospital. Because him is like, me, I'm okay. Sheila, ndio ujue importance ya insurance. Sheila was insured with Resolution Health.
Peter Ndoati.
Sheila, bana, a chopper came for her.
What?
Yes, to airlift her from wherever it was to Nairobi. Now, a few months down the line, the group 112, I think 2 or 3 members of 112 came into the country. While they were in the country, they did a song. I can't remember the name of the song, but they did a song, and Sheila was also in that song. I can't remember the name of the song. You'll have to look for it.
Sheila was in a song with 112.
Yes. And even in the video, if you look closely, there's some parts where she has makeup, where she's hiding the scars of the accident.
What?
Yes.
Hey, okay.
They shot it at Railways.
Also, this story, so it's hitting me from so many different corners. Let me even shock you one of the corners that hit me on. Do you know who taught me how to DJ? DJ EZB.
Oh, are you serious?
We opened up a club called Zigzag. And the guy...
Wait, Zigzag, the one Zigzag we knew?
Yeah, in Hurlingham. And the guy, there was 2 DJs. There was DJ Paddy.
Paddy, I remember Paddy.
And then me and EZB, because me, I've just come from the UK. I used to fight with EZB.
Richie, how old are you? What year was this?
1997.
Yes,
because
I'm like, Richie, if you tell me 2000 and something, I'm going to tell you that's not Zigzag.
Yeah.
But now you say 1997, yes. And you know why Zigzag is important in our history?
Because
of the country.
Coolio and Lost Boys.
Yes.
Now let me shock you, Lost Boys. It used to be my job to drive on a motorbike, go to Hilton, and give them alcohol, because it was expensive to buy it from there.
Wow.
I even have photos with Coolio. And you know who the one who brought them in? Both of my uncles, Pete Moriah and my dad's brother called David Mambo.
So me, I just know I know that name, Pete Moriah. I never met him, but I know that name, and I know he was behind bringing those 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
The world is very tiny.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why for me DJ EZB, like I always have her. She's the one who, it was my first, I'm just back from the country. So this guy is the one who's teaching me how to DJ. I saw him at David Moredi's 50th birthday.
DJ EZB has been there for a while. There's a thing that you asked me about managing creatives.
This is still recap. You're enough for now 7 hours.
There's a thing that I want to tell you that I learned from Babutale. Babutale is one of the managers of Diamond. There was a time I was privileged.
He just now it's an MP.
Yeah. There was a time I was privileged to sit with him, and we spoke a lot about the industry, especially from a managerial point of view. And one of the things that he taught us was how an artist has to act. So he gave us a scenario. What's Diamond's real name? Nasib.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When they are seated as a team to talk about Diamond, Diamond does not come for the meeting.
Nasib
comes for the meeting. Because they are discussing the brand Diamond. It's like when you work at Coca-Cola, a Coca-Cola bottle doesn't walk into the meeting, but you're discussing that brand.
Wow.
It's people around who are discussing the brand. So, Nasib comes for the meeting. Nasib may not even necessarily agree with something that the team comes up with about Diamond. But it's Nasib's job
to represent the brand.
To go outside and tell Diamond, this is what the team has said.
Yeah.
So they can be backstage having like a small meeting before Diamond gets on stage. Nasib can leave that small meeting annoyed because he doesn't agree with something. But when he walks out and changes into Diamond, Diamond executes what the team said down there.
Guy.
There has to be that difference.
Guy.
Now, we have situations in Kenya, and I'm sure around the world, where, like, to use this example, Diamond comes for the meeting. What is Diamond telling Babutale? Babutale does not want to talk to Diamond. Babutale wants to talk about Diamond. So Babutale wants to have a conversation about Diamond with Nasib. So you can't let Diamond walk into the room. Hiyo ni ya huko nje. You get? So that's one of the things that creatives have to accept. When you talk to Styles, when you're discussing business, you discuss with Alan about DJ Styles. When you discuss with Pinye, you're talking to Peter,
Peter
about the brand DJ Pinye.
Wow. Okay, let me ask a question. How then do you get creatives to that part? Because you see, Diamond, the face is the exact same person. How do you what do you have? How do you get creatives to let go or enter that mentality?
Like, it's the way you treat them. It's the way you treat them. Like, you need to be firm for them to realize that you're not, and no disrespect to fans, you're not the guy standing in front there on stage screaming his name. We are the ones who are creating what those fans are screaming for. So,
you're an owner in this thing.
Yes.
Dude, that is you know the power of that. That was I think that's what, when I started becoming an artist, that's what really helped my relationship with Blackman. Blackman would say, we're creating this thing, you're going to rap on this kind of a beat. Me, I'm like, I'm not feeling this beat. He's like, for what we're trying to do, rap to that thing. Because of the audience we're trying to get to. So, but that, there's a level, as an artist, I feel then there's a level of trust and release that you need to give the team.
And the team here can include producer, manager, even down to stylist, because the stylist will tell you how you look.
Yes.
How you look on stage. You know, like the way there are some people who, what they wear on stage, when you look at them when they are off stage, that's not how they dress. But there's a certain way. Do you remember when Bad Boy was being dissed about being the shiny suits things? But Hype Williams, the video director at that time, used to come to them and tell them, this we are doing for the video. This looks good on video, you know. And initially they were not for it, but, you know. I take you back to a Mace and Diddy story. When Mace was coming into Bad Boy, Diddy realized that there's a strong marriage, strong and perfect marriage between hip hop and R&B. And he pushed Mace to get into R&B tracks. The first track that Mace got onto was the Only You 112. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Mace was in a Brian McKnight song.
Yep.
There's one line that I'll never forget from that song.
Which one?
Where, and for me this was now Mace owning it. In Mace's verse, he says, first rap cut with an R&B budget. Yeah? You know, that's a big thing. Like, in the planning, the producer tells you, you're a rap guy, but we have to go into R&B. Because there's an audience in R&B that you have to pull. And they managed to do it.
Dude, I'm perfect. I'm part of the guys they pulled in excellently. And it got so big that Jay-Z even started trying to do it. When he tried to do it with Babyface, it backfired for him because it wasn't natural. But I see what it is that you're saying. In fact, you've explained to me that transition of the beauty between rap and R&B. Okay, so the management conversation, we are going to have it extensively.
I think it's one of those things that we'll keep on coming back into. Yeah.
Okay, is there another recap? I'm loving this recap. Some good nuggets were left out.
No, that should be it.
Okay, there's one I want to ask about. There's one I want to ask you about a recap. So when I posted the episode out for DJ Coffee.
Yes. Wow.
I think what shocked me, I get a tag. I think when you tagged me in one of the things, you told me, hey, just go and check this thing out. And when I went to check it out, DJ Coffee had put actual video footage of the story that you had just told about the stage.
Yes. What was the sign for Rainbow Alliance at that time? It was this. What was the sign for Do For Love? It was this. So he tells guys, if you're a fan of Rainbow Alliance, put 2 fingers in the air. Tells guys, okay, keep those 2 fingers in the air for. He drops Do For Love. So guy, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Then he scratches. I am unbogable. Let me tell you, the crowd went mad.
We just see some hands up in the air. Nairobi, we're about to bring this live. DJ Kofi, Turntable Entertainment. Yeah. How many Tupac fans have we got in the place? How many Tupac fans have we got in the place? Check this out. Check this out.
Do you know, we even started chatting with him and he was like, he's so amazed, but he's also he's feeling so good that something that he did almost 20 years back, people still remember to this day. So I was telling him, I was even screenshotting for him the messages that I'd gotten personally, especially from DJs about that night. So I was sending to him like, look, all these are DJs who are just talking about this. There's a DJ who was not a DJ at that time. He was in primary school at that time.
What?
But when he got into DJing, he had this story. But he always wondered, how was this? How did it happen? So when he saw the video, because now I reposted his video, the guy was like, wow, thanks, man, thanks. Like, he saw the power of it.
Yeah. And
so it was amazing. And also shout out to Sir Prestige, because Sir Prestige is actually the person who brought Kofi to Kenya the first time for a show years before with Pinye at the Barn. The show was actually called The Show. Prestige reminded me. And
wait, Sir Prestige is one person I want to have onto this show. Do you know my first love for Kenyan rap, minus the Kalamashaka, as a song nobody ever talks about. I've tried to get people to talk about this song, but maybe when Pinye comes here. Pinye, the seat is opened.
Which song?
There's a song called Tukishika Microphone. Produced by Sir Prestige together with Ted Josiah.
That was one of the first songs. That song is for... In fact, do you know how I remember that song? It's one of the songs that Kina Kalamashaka used to perform at those gigs for the band. Back then. I remember that song.
That song has Kalamashaka. It has K-South. It has Necessary Noise. It has K-Rap all on one song.
Ndani ya nyumba Sir Prestige, K-Shaka ndani ya nyumba. Yeah. Wakilisha maumau na zizi ndani ya nyumba Sir Prestige, K-Shaka ndani ya nyumba. London kote mnafahamu skezi mtu noma toka Kenya, East Africa. Yeah.
Checky, I'm living in a large jungle, and I'm the only lioness. Kama majini, rhymes in many possess. Killer dakika, nazizi mics on a bless. Nina this spit, killer second easily. Billa stress, munauliza hodat. Slick chick, billa dress. Pulling intelligent moves like a game of chess. Now isolate, back MCs, kama detention. Killer dakika, now I test. Now I does a moshi just like a pastor blunt session. Mukisikia, sauti yangu, muna feel the tension. I'm like a priest, you coming to me for confession. Atinas, I wanna confess. You make my heart go beep beep like a beeper. Unani jazz vile una spit rhymes faster than a cheetah. I'm telling you now, I'm kicking so hard you mistake me for a fetus.
I'll keep it up on the microphone to do I can't steady. Living me in control me up in the way again this. Push over the behind you up in the mancha in my shaking the body run me up, they jump and swing. Me taking it to a level that you never been before. The living in enemy tactics make it the right you fish off. Putting me thunder up and up and down in your bin. Nah, this is my shine be one go drive you insane like boom. All of a sudden you feeling me thunder up and down your bin. Look at it up you insane. See every way I'm thinking the ways I'm rocking them up with a crazy act. I hitting me uno cha-cha, putting me uno rocka.
Tukiroga kwa masaa, tabuka kwenye bar. Tukishika microphone, tabaki mekula. Tukianza rock someone and come to get it on. You know we gon' rock them people. Tukiroga kwa masaa, tabuka kwenye bar. Tukishika microphone, tabaki mekula. Tukianza rock someone and come to get it on. You know we gon' rock them people. Already kuwa
advertised kwa publicized kwa obituary column. Ukicheza na hawa mau wase wenye vipawa, kahawa nusa power shinda Guinness. Mbona unajaribu kuniguza, kujitupa, kuleta pupa, kucheza na huyu mse anaitwa Kamau anazusha the philosopher, ogopa Galileo, hakuna Romeo, vitu ni reality, hakuna kupanda milima na kuvuka mabahari na wase wako hungry. Cheki sembo ya peace njiwa na justice inatiwa. Sasa ndiyo mtetemeko wa ardhi anaingia aka Dead Kimathi. Independence Day for real, going speed na bring ni wape wings mfly. Shida na kiss goodbye.
Yeah. When I explore rap, MCs fall back like doormats. Mortal Kombat, you stepped on flat and all that. I'm the wrong cat to ever contract for combat. Whether on track or even beyond that, it's difficult to talk back when guns get cocked back. The barrel's in your mouth and your tongue's in contact. Ready to lick a shot, you get popped and drop back. But stop that, scratch that, I take that back. Instead of making you face that, I'd rather lace tracks and make stacks on 8 tracks. So take that, I break backs. Never fictional on track, I state facts. Can't stand fake ass cats that state jacks. Them I know like us cause we're righteous, yet we might just light up your life like lighters. Them backbiters, incite us, them can't fight us. So them insulters, them vultures, them like the black African culture. So we call them up just like a sculpture, for real, that's the whole deal. Bamboo.
Check it. Chevy Dubish aka Domingo. Mtaani squeezy bana hakuna amani. Wase watakusorora kiplani plani. Na ukichwa ukweli utaamini si matani.
That song for me is Kenyan
song.
classic.
Yeah.
But then Sir Prestige went to do a lot of. And anyway, we're starting this. We're starting this thing called the Diaspora Series, where we have conversations with Kenyans in the diaspora who are doing amazing things. Sir Prestige for
will
me,
tell you a lot
hats
of
off.
stuff. Yeah, Sir Prestige. You know, Sir Prestige is related to who?
Who?
Styles.
How?
They're cousins.
Styles, unakuja?
Now, there's a. In fact, you've reminded me. There's a thing that I realized, and I realized this. You remember when we were talking about the lines from Issa and K-Rapt?
Mm-hmm. The one no one knew existed.
Let me tell you, me, I was in shock. In fact, there's a guy called Kip who I have to blast. Kip was a good friend of Issa. Then after that CTA, where I said that thing of
Clouds,
Wingulatisa, and the K-Rapt thing.
Just say it again in case somebody doesn't know.
So Issa says Wingulatisa inatufikisha. He's talking about Cloud 9. There's a song K-Rapt to Kawake where he talks. He says time check kwenye radio, then he goes 98.4 96.4 because he's talking about Capital FM and Nation FM 98.4 and 96.4. And remember, by the way, right now Nation is 96.3. So you know Nation used to be 96.4. Then there were issues with Capital FM. It actually became a court case. For 96,
what?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
For 96.4 to change to 96.3. Yeah, because the 98.4, 96.4 were sounding similar. So there were issues. Capital, I can't remember the legal terms they used, but there was a court case.
And that court case forced Nation
to push to 96.3.
Yeah.
Because 98.4, 96.4. You see, 96.4 came up after. And you know that time, a lot of these frequencies used to be, the voiceovers were the jungus. So 98.4, 96.4 used to sound so similar. So it used to sound like 96.4 was riding on 98.4. So they had to switch to 96.3.
Fakii, you're an industry. We go into a rabbit hole, you find something. So there's a reason why you are saying this thing about Kip.
Oh, yes. So, let me see if even you know. You know, Tafsiri Hii Kalamashaka had 2 remixes.
Yes.
There was a raga remix.
Okay.
There was a Karaga remix.
Okay.
There was a hip hop remix.
I know there's one which I know that sounds harder. I think there's a hip hop. I think I know the hip hop remix. I don't know the raga remix.
The hip hop remix had an additional verse at the end. Do you remember it?
No.
A guy who says, urban native, slamming crew, so creative. Everybody knows that we run the show. Throw your hands up in the air as you hit the floor. Cause Josiah and Keshaka keep you wanting so much more. who did that rap?
No idea.
Ted Josiah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Ted Josiah, was Nini was
In
Ted
a group.
Josiah was in a group.
Yeah, he was
with who?
with Peter Dera. Before
Another
that,
one?
if I'm not wrong, Maina Kageni.
Yes. In Kenya, the first chapter.
What?
And I think, if I'm not wrong, either they were called Urban Native or Ted Josiah's label or brand at that time when he was doing first chapter was Urban Native.
What?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I know that thing of K-Rap, that one caught a lot of people unawares. Kuna recap
I
ingine?
realized. Let's see. Do I have any other? You remember when we were talking about the Coca-Cola pop stars? And I mentioned the judges, Patricia, Amira. I mentioned Zoaibala of TKZ.
Yep.
And then I mentioned John Rabah.
Yeah.
There's somebody who was in pop stars for TZ reminded me that there was a fourth judge. There was a producer called Anthony Morgan. In fact, the joke used to be, we used to call him Anthony Morgan, because that's how he used to say his name, Anthony
I'm
Morgan.
Anthony.
Yes. And in TZ, because now Anthony Morgan was now the revolving judge for all of East Africa. So he did UG, he did TZ also.
Yeah.
In TZ, one of the judges was...
Because Patricia doesn't go to TZ.
Yes. So one of the judges was Seven, Christine Mosha. She's been in the industry for years, probably longer than me. Christine Mosha was, until recently, manager to Ali Kiba and Omidimpos.
What?
Christine Mosha is now, I believe, the one in charge of Sony Music in East and I think Central Africa.
Yo.
Like she's a big dog in Sony Music right now.
I'd love to
like
first of all-
reports to South Africa.
What?
Yeah. So that's one person who can give you also a lot of insights
I know.
about the industry in TZ. Let me
And
tell
I
you,
love it because she'd give me from a Fakii perspective. What I mean is I
Yes.
think what makes your story so, and a lot of people maybe have told you this, what makes you so powerful in your storytelling, you're a fly on the wall giving us a perspective of what is happening, 360 perspective, because you are looking at it as, you're playing a role, but you're also looking at it and having a 360 perspective of what's happening.
so when I mentioned Seven, it takes me to a story in 2004. It's small, but for me it was significant. In 2004, when I was working with Klepto, we were called for a gig at in TZ. This gig was an annual gig. I think it still happens till now. It's like the biggest gig in TZ. You know the gig?
With one of the liquors, forgotten what it's not Tusker, if I'm not, I've forgotten
It's been changing the sponsor for a while.
Okay,
but
then
you
I
know the
don't-
name of the gig? Fiesta.
Yeah. Okay.
Fiesta with Clouds TV and Clouds Radio. Let me tell you, TZ was the first country, the first gig where we were called to go and do the gig in TZ. At that time, I think Klepto was charging 30 Gs for a show in Kenya. When we were called for that gig, we were paid 30K deposit. Then 30K balance. That's number one. Number two, we were paid all this money before we left the country. Number three, we were flown there. You know, a lot of artists at that time used to get onto a bus to go to TZ.
That from
And you have
5
to
a.m.
go
until
Arusha through, you know. But we were flown there. The reception we got when we got there, like the press, Nini, like it was a big deal. And then we get to the hotel, we are given some money in dollars, each one of us. So I'm like, what's this?
Per diems.
Per diem. We didn't know anything like that existed. So TZ was a big market for Kenyan artists back then.
And then how many people attended that event?
Let me tell you, that's the first place you see the biggest crowds, even before you see big crowds in Kenya. Those crowds were huge. Let me tell you, even going for an interview at the radio station, you're mobbed because at some point, the fans realize where you're staying Then on radio, they've said you'll be there at a certain time. So on the way into the radio station, like there has to be a convoy. You know, push people away from the gate to enter the radio station. Like TZ really knows showbiz. In Kenya.
Okay, let me ask you, did you go for the Ogopa UG?
No, I didn't go for that one.
You didn't go for that one?
I didn't go for that one. I didn't go for that one, but I saw the photos and the videos. Banda represented me in that one.
Okay, but at that era, are you with Ogopa?
Yeah, I think I think that's a time when I was getting a lot into my music, the project, and I think probably that was even the time I was going into Capital FM. I can't remember. Yeah.
One last one that I have to ask, and then we continue with this story. So, after I sat down with Amani.
Okay.
And you didn't tell us kwanza that you were managing Amani on this level. But then she told us about the Chagola teens and how she chafukad. So you're the one who ended up constantly going on stage to collect her chat awards. Tell us a little bit about from your perspective of that day.
First, that was a very long day. In fact, Amani, since ulichoma wacha pia mimi nichoma. Hey, let me tell you, that day I really felt you know when you're told chicks take long to prepare. So that day I'm supposed to take Amani for Chagola Teenies. I live in South B. That time Amani was staying in Westlands. So I'm supposed to go and pick her up. We go for Chaguo at Kani. So Amani tells me I'm ready. So I drive from South B to Amani's place.
What time is it now?
I can't remember what time it was.
Okay.
But when I get there, I tell Amani, okay, I'm downstairs. Then she tells me I'm coming. Do you know, I waited for Amani for so long. I slept and woke up twice in the car as I was waiting for her. Amani kept me waiting for like 4 hours.
What? You're strong.
She was doing her hair. And at that time, I think either one of the things that I had pressure for was, this was when Bad Boy was big. And we had planned for a production where and I hope people by now have seen these things in behind the scenes footage for different artists. When you see an artist on stage or in a video and the hair is uko, there's like a machine there blowing there. So me, I was in charge of making sure we have that machine on stage during Chaguo. So the audience at Chaguo would probably see it, but then we had tried to hide it.
Yeah.
But you know that thing of making sure it's placed at a certain place and we have markers on stage where for that effect to be,
you need to stand there.
You need to stand there or not go beyond here and here, so that when that thing hits you, your hair goes all. Because in the Bad Boy video, there's also that. Yeah. So, yeah. But for Amani, 2 things. Number 1, I wasn't her manager for very long. There's a lady called Doreen who ended up taking over and being her manager. And number 2, remember at this time, while I was managing a number of artists, remember, like I said, I was reporting to Ogopa. So I think that's why, especially that era, in terms of management, may not have been as big for me with the artist perspective. It's more of Ogopa perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, but at least now we've got to understand a little bit of that. I don't even want us to recap anymore because we'll spend we've already done an hour. An hour like that, bang, just on recap. Okay. But at least I love it. I feel like there's been a lot of value in this. So where did we leave off this story, Fakii?
We left off at Capital FM. We left off at
First
Capital
and foremost, FM. Man, R.I.P. Chris.
Man,